when there are as many different kinds of gay lifestyles there are straight.
You bet.
Oh, definitely. I know myself, there have been times when I've gone through a little depression, and I thought, why couldn't I have either been totally, you know, what society expects a man to be or a woman to be? Why was I in between, you know?
Right.
And I've indulged in a little bit of self-pity over that from time to time, but because of my religious convictions, you know, I've managed to overcome that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's true, in this culture, had we had a choice, we would have obviously chosen the heterosexual lifestyle. It would have been the easy way. It is an easy sort of moving against the current of ignorance and what people expect. And I find this very interesting, though. You slept around with college boys, you know, hoping that would make you turn from homosexual to heterosexual. And of course you found out that's impossible because
Right.
that isn't what you were.
Right.
You know, that's wonderful. And incidentally, we didn't bring this up either. Your family is a strong church background in the Presbyterian Church. Yes, and I believe you and Bill are still very active in the local Presbyterian Church.
Yeah, we're both ordained elders and
Elders, yes.
and very active. He particularly right now. We sort of go in shifts sometimes.
Does the minister of the church know of your involvement in Parents of Gays and the political action committees? And
Oh, yes, indeed. Every time there's something about us, they put it up in the church bulletin board.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I noticed in the Presbyterian publication, there was an article about Bill Shepard, about Ann's husband, and it says, Bill Shepard, from shocked father to gay rights activist. And so did your father show a little bit of shock and surprise when you first came out to him?
Well, his first thought was that a good therapist would do, and actually I'd gone to a very good therapist before that, and I told him I thought I was gay, and there was dead silence, and I thought, oh, brother. And so I gave him the line I figured he was expecting, and I said, but I'm probably just waiting for the right man. He said, oh, yes, that's it. And I thought, oh, brother, I'm not going to get any support here for who I am. So I paid him his money and left. There wasn't any support there. It was very, very frustrating, and I'm afraid a lot of people still believe that.
The therapist, oh, I know my parents when I was growing up also went through that, in fact, they sent me to a psychiatrist when I was quite young. And the only thing the psychiatrist could come up with at the time was to send me up the river to a boys' camp, a boarding school type of thing. And in fact, my mother and father both drove me up there, and when they saw they didn't like the conditions of the camp itself, so that I didn't have to stay there, but the psychiatrist said that my being in an environment with nothing but boys and everything would make my effeminate tendencies, is how he worded it, less, and I would become more like a boy. And of course, actually looking back on that now, that would have just made my homosexual tendencies come out earlier in life than they would have later anyway.
You bet.
What I mean by the homosexual tendencies is the sexual desire for men. This was at an age where I really wasn't into having, sex at that time. But had I gone to that boys' boarding school that the psychiatrist thought my folks should send me to, I probably would have had sex a lot earlier with men than I actually did. And
the kid in the candy store.
That's a good illustration. It would have just brought that out sooner. Through high school, I was very naive. I was very religious, and really didn't even know until I got out of high school that there was such a thing as a gay life and a gay culture. So you have been active in the political rights struggles.
Right.
And I know a lady called me who saw this show not too long ago, and I referred to you. And tell us a little bit about that. A lady who called and whose daughter is a lesbian in Boston.
And she is just, this woman said that seeing Sister Paula, the evangelist, and hearing you preach, made her realize, because she had been brought up in the same Pentecostal church in which you were reared, and she realized that it was perfectly okay to be a deeply ingrained Pentecostal and to be gay. And you just opened a whole world to her. So she called and got hold of you, and you suggested she talk to me, and we've become friends over the phone, and she is so much relieved to know that it's okay, that God loves you. You know, like
God
Freud,
accepts you as you are, as the orientation that you were born
that's
with.
right.
It's
God,
ingrained
well,
in you.
God could not create anything that he doesn't love.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Now,
that's-
the family lifestyle, and now three of your daughters are gay. Has that changed your family lifestyle at all?
No.
No.
It's made
In
it
fact,
richer.
it's brought it closer together.
It's made it a lot richer.
It's
We
just-
rejoice that we do have gay daughters because we wouldn't have the opportunities really to help people that we do, and we do, and we wouldn't know the wonderful, rich world of gay people and political action and all sorts of marvelous things that happen when you are open to all sorts of people. And
Allowing people the space to be who they are. I believe that one of the biggest lies perpetrated in the homophobic movement, or the people, evangelicals, or people that are homophobic who are anti-gay, one of the big, and many television evangelists come under this category, one of the biggest lies that they have perpetrated is that gay people are out to destroy the family unit. And the truth of the matter is that gay people and lesbians, for the most part, are more family-oriented than a lot of heterosexual people are. And the ones who are estranged from their family, in 9 times out of 10, were disowned by their families. When their families found out they were gay, they have literally pushed them out of their life. I have gay friends, I have transsexual friends whose parents, both mother and father, have totally disowned them. As far as they're concerned, they don't even exist.
Yes.
And they refuse to open up their hearts to understand, to even try to understand. And because someone is pro-gay does not mean they are anti-family. Someone is pro-gay is usually more pro-family.
That's right.
And how does this all tie in with, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, the Political Action Committee and the Right to Privacy PAC that you're involved in? Share a little of that also with the
Well, the
audience.
candidates that we support, of course, are very pro-family. They're pro-gay, they are pro-civil liberties, they are protecting people who get tested for the AIDS virus, protecting their anonymity and their personal lives.
Yes.
I can't help reflecting as I listen to you on the last 9 months of my employment. I just left a job where it should have been very pro-family. I worked at the Multnomah County Courthouse in a position called Family Law Clerk.
Yes.
I helped more people getting divorces, and they were all heterosexual couples.
Heterosexual.
And more people getting restraining orders under the Family Abuse Prevention Act, and they were well over 99% of them were heterosexual couples. And Paula, families are being destroyed right, left, and in the middle by alcohol, by drugs, by violence, by beatings, by running around on other people. It's not the sort of things you see in our community. And in terms of what I just have to throw that in because
That's
I've been
fine.
so impressed by the extent of heterosexual violence that there is in our community. It's overwhelmingly depressing, frankly.
Wife beating, child abuse.
Terrible
Child
amount.
abuse is rampant in this country.
It is, and what you see in our community, because we are,
Heterosexual child abuse and heterosexual child molestation.
and it's all heterosexual, all of it, and that of it, even which isn't, has nothing to do with sexual orientation. It has to do with abuse, with control, with power over people who have no way to protect themselves.
Right.
What we do with the Right to Privacy Political Action Committee is we endorse and raise funds to support candidates who want to support civil rights for all Oregonians, not just the 85 to 90% who are, shall we say, self-avowed heterosexuals. We look for candidates who espouse our viewpoints, who support the family in its entirety, not the kinds of families that Mother's talking about where she gets calls literally almost every day from a young person who says, my parents have kicked me out. And those are the candidates for whom we will put up lawn signs, have fundraisers, have coffees in our home, those are the candidates who are going to vote to protect civil liberties at the very most basic level. Here we are celebrating the year of the Constitution's anniversary, and there are over 200,000 Oregonians and over 2 million Americans who do not have the basic civil rights that all other Americans have. I see nothing to celebrate and a great deal for which we need to continue to work.
Exactly. This is another article, too, about the Shepherds. An Oregon couple comes to grips with their daughter's homosexuality, and quoting the father, Susie's father, "She's still our daughter." And that right there, "she's still our daughter," is something that should speak to every parent that's listening to us today.